Hello there.
Welcome to another LTS show. I am your host, Bodkins, as always. Tanner, I strictly said, hey, start at one at a time. I guess it didn't go through in time. I don't like when we're all here. I like to talk one-on-one first. Jeez. We got through this.
He needs to get his opening moment, man. He needs to get
I need to get the monologue
and stuff.
Yes, right. Thanks, Johnny. This is why you're the backup producer. Instead, jeez, guy, we're about to be promoted to first producer. Anyway,
I do not want his job.
I was like, do you want that responsibility?
No. You hear?
Welcome.
You hear that little guy? You could be yelled at by Nick someday. Yeah.
Welcome to the world, Samsa, first boy, baby boy. Yeah. Welcome to the LTS world, my guy.
Hi, right. Benjamin. He says, no cameras, please.
Benjamin, don't grow up to be a Titans fan. Grow up and choose your own choosing. Don't let dad dog you into crappy teams.
He's going to play something sissy like lacrosse now.
Speaking of crappy teams, we're going to be doing this AFC West preview. We got the one and only Rob Logan coming on here in about 15 minutes or so. We'll be doing that the first hour of the show. The back half hour, we got our boy Whit coming on to cover UFC 292. Excited for the fights this weekend. Excited to break down this division where, Tanner, your Chiefs are the reigning division champs and Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah. I'm totally not drinking out of a Travis Kelce cup right now or anything. It's my Chiefs, my Nick Bolton jersey and Chiefs hat on. No way. Why would I ever do that?
Johnny,
thank you, Alan.
Yeah, congratulations, Sam. Sam, talk to us about the baby boy. How's everything going? Wife doing okay?
Second C-section for the wife, a little rough, but she's making it. Boy is perfectly healthy. He's Mr. Chill, very calm, whatever else. But he likes to keep me awake right when I need enough sleep. So, but other than that is I'm happy to have him here. I'll tell you that.
We're happy to have you here. We figured you'd be gone this tonight's episode, so thanks for sticking it in. And yeah, you can eat on air too, since you're newly dad and stuff.
Yeah, look, this is all I got. This chocolate cake that somebody left at my
doorstep. What got him in this situation in the first place, Nick.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he's not wrong.
Johnny, how's it going, brother? How you doing?
I know that. Besides the fact that the Yankees suck, and it seems like every day another Dolphin gets hurt. We had a little scare with Teron Armstead. He's saying that he's okay. There's no type of structural damage, no surgery needed, nothing like that. So that's good. But I still got to worry about him because he's never played a full season in his whole career. So the way I see it is if he's going to miss, Teron Armstead is who I'm talking about. If he's going to miss the first couple games, and hopefully he'll be healthy the rest of the year. But it's just seems like every day somebody else is getting nicked up, man. So I just want the preseason to be over with already so we can get the real games going before anybody else, not just on the Dolphins, but all around the league. You know what I'm saying? We're losing guys, and it's like, come on, man. We want to see the best players. So hopefully people can stay healthy for the most part of the rest of this regular season. And
that's why I hate when people are like, oh, football's back, no, or man, we only saw Deshaun Watson, or we only saw Patrick Mahomes play one series. Oh my gosh, when are the real stars going to play? Well, that's what week one is for. Is it just me, or is it to you guys? Is this year seem to be more non-contact injuries popping up, or maybe it's just I forget about it till this time of year.
You forget about it because it's just what happens. It's literally feels the same.
Nick, you're putting people in the crossfire. I just don't get it. I just don't get it, man. Why you gotta do that to fans, man? Why you gotta do that, man? Look, we all have scares. It's like the people that don't want to do joint practices, but joint practices are really good to have player-wise. Yes. I mean, look at me. Traylon Burks has a bruised MCL sprain. Thank God it's just a bruised MCL sprain. But, it's so good for the players to have that, to go against a different scheme, to go against a different coach and things like that. So it's a necessary thing that has to happen. And, look, injuries happen all over the time. All the time. Sometimes you get bit by the injury bug. Sometimes you don't. That's just how it is. But it's good. It needs to stay. So
it is. And if I look distracted, I got a shout out to my guy NFL Outdated Andy. I'm in his fantasy league, and the draft is about to happen in 10 minutes, so 20 minutes. So of course, those bastards are going to do a live draft and decide to do it when I'm on air. So I'm already at course.
They're already out to get you.
Everybody's out to get the champ of the fantasy.
All out to get you, Nick. They're all out to get
It's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy.
Yeah, they're out to get me. They don't get no respect. No respect at all.
It is a conspiracy. I know the three of you guys will be gunning for me on the LTS Fantasy Draft Show Sunday at 4 p.m. Central. So please check that out as we'll be on air then. Let me ask you guys while we're waiting on Rob, Johnny, what team intrigues you the most in this division as we're getting ready before we bring in Rob?
I mean, I want to say Rob's Chargers, but the Chargers are the Chargers. So I mean, I'm gonna go with Denver with the new quarterback. I mean, with the new head coach, and see what he can do with Russell Wilson. I mean, we know what Kansas City is and Patrick Mahomes, and the Raiders may only win a game or two this year. The Chargers, you really don't know, but I think the most intriguing one, in my opinion, in this division is going to be Denver. They got a lot of good young players on that team. I was expecting a lot of them last year with Russell coming over. Obviously, you know, not only did he shit the bed, but Nathaniel Hackett did as well. So now you got Sean Payton there. I think he'll be able to resurrect, I guess, for lack of a better way of saying it, Russell's career. So I expect Russell to have a better season. I'm not going to fall for it again and say that Denver is going to compete for the division, but I think they'll be better. Maybe 9 wins or so, 10. I'm not going to say it right now because we're going to talk about that at the end. But I'm intrigued to see what happens with Russ because he can't possibly be as bad as he played last year, bro.
Sam, what team intrigues you the most of this AFC West?
Chargers. I'm curious if Kellen Moore adds a certain element to that team. I'm curious to see if Brandon Staley is going to, peak and grow a pair and actually, coach a damn team for once in his life. And then they're sitting there with Herbert and everything. I just feel like the Chargers are on this knife's point, right? Which edge are they going to fall off on? And I just feel that they have a lot more talent on that team, that they should be better. And I don't think they can put up a battle against the Chiefs. I don't think they're going to win the division or anything, but I think they could win a wild card. So I am intrigued by the Chargers and what changes they make, because let's face it, that playoff game in Jacksonville, God Almighty
is right.
Tanner, this is your division. What team intrigues you, or what team you think could challenge the Chiefs?
I want to see the Chiefs. Broncos are my most intriguing team, right? Finally, a new setup, new chemistry, new morale over there. Something they haven't had in, probably 5 years at least. So since the last time they beat the Chiefs. So I'm really see.
Well done.
It's true. I literally mentioned that earlier, bro.
2016 was the last time before Mahomes. Mahomes is undefeated. Ever since Mahomes came in that last game in 2016 as a rookie, they have yet to beat Mahomes. So that's insane. But yeah, since 2016, I mean, literally before then,
wow,
they haven't had their setup, right? They got a quarterback now. They got the coaching staff should be in place.
But we thought that last year, right? I mean, last year they got
didn't have the right chemistry with the quarterback. Your head coach, your coaching staff was shit. So now you got to see exactly where that comes. I'm curious to see how it all puts together. Really.
Yeah, I'm with you.
We're going to find out if last year was Hackett or if it was Russ real quick in about the first month.
Quick.
Yeah. And the first month, I would say you're going to know if it was Russ just falling off a cliff or if it was the coaching staff that just gave him no chance. But no, I expect them to be a little better. I mean, let's see what happens with Javonte, if he comes back healthy or not. I hope they don't rush that kid, but they did pick up P. Ryan. To help them out. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking forward to see what Denver can do. It's still Kansas City's division to lose, in my opinion. I mean, I honestly think, you know what I'm saying, they have, obviously with 15, they got an opportunity to get that number 1 spot overall in the conference. So it's going to be interesting to see, man. But hopefully it's good competition. Like what Sam was saying, I'd love to see Herbert go off and, you know what I'm saying, and see what he can actually do with hopefully some healthy receivers and the defense healthy and playing well. They got one of the Bosas there. Darwin James is one of the best safeties in all of football. So they got pieces in LA. It's just, like we always say, the Chargers are going to charge us. So, you know what I'm saying? Can Justin Herbert snap that? You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens with that. It's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
One story I want to follow up before we start more AFC talk is that Michael Orr story. I don't know if you guys have caught, but the Toomies have now rebutted the Michael Orr story. They pretty much said, like, we have documentation like that we tried to give him his royalties. They went to his son. Like, Michael Orr has now got like lawyer number 2 or 3 because every time his other lawyers try to go forward, they see the documentation and they pretty much are like, oh, there's no leg to stand on here. Like, they got bank receipts, they got money given to his son, and like they talked about the adoption, right? Like the courtship. It was the only way he could get to Ole Miss, or else it would have got real shaky because the dad, Mr. Tui, was a alumni and a booster, and then they get this, this kid, and they put him in private school and things like that. So now they've kind of rebutted, and now Michael Orr's on the back foot. What's your Sam? You kind of seem like you little know about the. What's your take there?
Yeah, Michael Orr, let me put it to you this way. When he was with the Titans, he got a big landscaping job done, and then he just never paid the guys. He said he didn't like the way they did their work or whatnot. It's a big, giant palatial yard that he had. They mowed on it. Anyway, they took him to court, and he lost, and he had to pay them more than what he had to pay them originally. So I just don't think I don't think he makes good decisions. He probably doesn't spend his money very well. It's probably why he had to go through lawyer after lawyer to finally get here. I don't know much about the Toolies. I know they're big in Memphis, but just knowing what I know about Michael Orr, this sounds like he's just trying to get something. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sad story. If you know what I'm saying, if this is what it's come down to, you know what I'm saying. I mean, a professional football player, that part of the story is a cool story, and he makes it to the league, gets drafted by Baltimore, is playing in Baltimore, and then I mean, that's one of those stories that you unfortunately hear often with professional athletes, is how they wind up losing their money after a short period of time. Yes. This is something that I've spoken to. Shout out to Bobby G. We spoke on it for a bit, as far as like some type of program or something that needs to be implemented either in the leagues or in college or something to help these young men and women. You know what I'm saying, as far as learning business and how to invest properly and stuff like that, so that they can they have a better opportunity after their playing career is over to be successful and not be out of money basically, and having to struggle and resort to possibly stuff like this to try to make ends meet, man. It's a sad tale. So hopefully something gets done about that to help them out a little better.
Remember when they went on strike and they said, hey guys, we're going to go on strike, so everybody save their money. And then like 8 players declared bankruptcy, Des Bryant being one of them, who's a higher player. It's just, I know they do have classes. I don't know how good they are or if it's mandatory. It should be mandatory.
It's usually mandatory at rookie symposium.
Right. I remember Jeff Fisher came in with a duffel bag with $1 million. And he used to go in there to all the Titans rookies, and he'd lay out $1 million. He goes, how much does your agent get? And he'd take some away. Hey, you got to pay all the debt off of your family, right? Got to take that. You want to buy your mom a house, don't you? Oh, you want the nice car? And he would just cut away at it. And then by the end of it, there wasn't very much at all. Yeah. So I just that's a story I remember, but it should be something that should be mandatory and should be taught to every rookie that comes out.
Tanner, what's your thoughts?
I don't know. It's just a weird situation. I don't know. You don't really know what else to come out. Like I'm just kind of waiting for more. Give me more details, before I really make a judgment. But if everything seems to stand par, like that's unfortunate. It's all come out 10 years after the movie,
right?
8 years?
I mean,
this far out.
Yeah, and the whole time, like his whole NFL career, right? Like, and everything.
Most unfortunate is that the actors who portrayed them are getting more of the black backlash.
Of course they are.
Which makes
so
sense.
Right.
I'm stopped listening to Tim McGraw because he played a guy who's made a
Right.
You leave Sandra Bullock
it
alone.
ain't Sandra Bullock's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like-
she was
like
just
literally,
playing a role.
Like the guy who played Michael O'Hare is having to come out and like defend these guys, and it's like
yeah.
they're not even the real people. What are we doing?
Yeah.
It's insane how people get as far as towards actors and characters and stuff like that, and TV shows and stuff like that. It's like they go nuts with stuff like that. You know, Tanner, as a Star Wars fan, how crazy some of these people get at the actor. It's the actor's fault that they were poorly written or the story or whatever.
They were so mad at what's his face for the way he portrayed Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, dude.
Hayden Christensen.
Like, the homeboy needed therapy and the whole shit, bro. Like, he was, that hurt him for a minute, man. It was just wild, bro. It's crazy.
Howdy, Bo.
What's up, Bo?
What up, Bo?
I was about to say, that was a quick, hey.
Hopefully we getting Bo on for next week for our AFC NFC West talk.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
When I get it all set up, he'll be the guy message. So be in the lookout.
All right, Bo, that's your formal invite if you're still watching, brother. So
right.
DM one of us. We'll get you on next week for our NFC West preview. We'll go ahead and start with our AFC West preview. I think Rob's big time in us. He's he's
been hanging out with Chris Mad Dog Russo.
Speak of the devil. That's right. He's out here, baby.
A man who is big time in us. A man who is big time in us. You know, he's hanging out with Mad Dog Russo. Instead of he forgot where he came from, folks. He's out here big time. He's too big time to show up on time and give us his full attention. But he's finally here. Give it up for none other than a man who hosts oblivious shows you can catch right here on the Let's Talk Sports Network. Logan Sports, Mr. Rob Logan, baby.
What up, Rob? What's up,
Rob? Welcome back home. You know, you got done hanging out with Chris the Mad Dog Russo, and you just stood us up like we're a bunch of stooges. I thought we were friends.
He's not wrong.
Hey, I invited all you guys. It was at a bar.
Anytime anybody is late like that, you know, Nick thinks it's just big time. So.
I mean, you know, a real friend would have slipped my number to Mr. Russo and been like, hey, I got a guy. And Russo's never texted me, so I'm just blaming you that I missed my opportunity.
Well, he hasn't texted me yet either. So.
Oh, okay.
You know, Rob, with that darkness all in the background in horror movies, you're gonna die. Somebody's just gonna come up over your shoulder. You know.
I gotta watch. All the doors are locked up.
Rob,
behind you. What?
Yeah.
How excited are you to break down this AFC West? We got Tanner, who's obviously our Chiefs fan, and you're diehard Chargers fan.
I tried to. I went on Facebook real quick and I saw the show started, and I already saw across the closed caption "Chargers will Charger," and I'm assuming that came from Nick. So
that actually came from China. I've been hanging out with you too long. But it's patented. Chargers are going to charge her.
Yep, I figured.
I'm only going off of what you told me all those Sunday nights, Rob. So I'm just going off of that, man.
Well, most of my complaints on those Sunday nights were for the coach. So I'm still putting up with the coach. So the big brown stain on my underwear is the coach of the Chargers.
How many games in before there's a newspaper headline that says Staley gone stale? I'm just waiting for it. It's got to happen.
Well,
pops up on the screen.
Well, strategically, you look at their schedule. They have 4 games, and then they have a bye in week 5. Mm-hmm. So conceivably, and I had mentioned this before, if the Chargers start off 0-4, I think Staley's got the axe right there, week 5, and then come back week 6 with Kellen Moore.
Okay. Let's jump right into it. We'll start with Tanner's Chiefs. Rob, we like to play a game. It's called They Win the Division If, and they win the division if they don't. So let's start with the defending Super Bowl champions. They went 14-3. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl. Out goes Orlando Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, Juan Thornhill, Miko Hardman, and Frank Clark. In comes Richie James, Juan Taylor. They did re-sign Jerick McKinnon. They're still Tanner. What's that guy that's their defensive player that's holding out?
Holding out? Oh, that Chris Jones character?
Chris Jones, Stone Cold Chris Jones is still gone.
That character,
some guy named Chris Jones. He's all right. He's all right.
Yeah. In the draft, they went defense with Felix Uzama. Then they got Rashee Rice in the second round. Tackle Wanea Morris in the third. As of note, Rob, we'll start with you. We always start with our guest. The Chiefs win the division if what?
If the Chiefs play the way that they should be playing, if Mahomes has a Mahomes year, the Chiefs should have the division wrapped up.
They don't win the division if what, Rob?
If Mahomes goes down. I think obviously he's the key. He's going to have to stay healthy. Obviously, if Mahomes gets hurt or Kelsey, one of their bigger players gets hurt, because they do have a lot of complementary players around them, and they need Mahomes and Kelsey to be there in order for those complementary players to be able to perform the way that they should and win games. So definitely they're all in with Mahomes, obviously.
Tanner, I'll give you the option. You want to go first or last?
Last.
All right, Johnny, we'll go with you.
All right, so I mean, I'm pretty much with Rob there. I mean, the only way that the Chiefs don't win the division is if, God forbid, Mahomes miss some time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, with him and the combination of him and Andy Reid is about as good as you can get with a quarterback and a coach. You got, a Hall of Fame, eventual Hall of Famer and Travis Kelce. Chris Jones, I think they're going to get that taken care of. He just ain't trying to practice at training camp, man, but they'll get that done. They got some young corners, but I think they'll step it up a little bit. That's my only worry a little bit. It's a defense, but it doesn't matter when you have 15 and you can score more points than the other team. But so if they only lose the division, if Patrick Mahomes for whatever reason misses games, that's the only way I could see them losing the division. And they win the division if Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if he plays up to his ability, they'll be 14-3 again, and they'll be competing for another Super Bowl title. So that's the gist of it. I mean, I don't think it gets any deeper than that, but you can try, Sam.
Who's Mahomes' backup, by the way?
Blaine Gabbert.
Oh, God help me! Yeah, they can't let him go down. They can't do that.
Hey, Blaine Gabbert always plays good in Missouri, baby.
Hey,
okay.
yeah, but, I mean, he backed up Brady, but I mean, it's not Henny time anymore, so that's the issue.
Good old Henny. Anyway, is it my turn? Yeah. All right. They win if, like you guys have said, Mahomes is still Mahomes. If Andy Reid's still freaking Andy Reid. If Kelsey is still Kelsey. If I think they were dubbed like the mad scientists because they would just come up with all these random plays on the fly.
Yes.
I think as long as that concoction keeps working and they keep pulling out these crazy ass plays when they need to win, then that's how they keep it going. They lose, and I agree with everybody. I think it's unanimous at this point if Mahomes goes down, because I blame Gabbert's awful, but. I also think if Andy Reid has a tendency to get into his own head sometimes, and if that happens far too often, which I don't think it will at all, then they could go on a downturn. Take it away, fanboy. Go get him, Tiger. I'm ready for you. Go ahead, Tanner. Go ahead.
It's my turn, huh?
Yeah.
Let it fly.
Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. We can talk about Mahomes all freaking day long we want, right? Here's the key. Mahomes, yes, he's got to stay healthy. Sure, whatever. This team loses the division if this defense is bottom 20. That's the issue. Bottom 15, bottom 10, right? We don't want to be past that 15 mark. It's in trouble. That means you're not stopping anybody, and you got to go out and play the Rams and score 50 points like you did that Monday night. The Chiefs win this division if the rookie class doesn't tank that we drafted today. That's the key there. Rasheed Rice, Felix has to be big. Coburn, the backup D tackle, Nick Jones, and Jabari Connor all have big roles to step up into with losing a lot of key guys. That's how the Chiefs lose this division.
Hey, Tanner, I didn't know you were a Braves fan. That's cool that you played their music and stuff.
I should remove you from the stream, but I'm not.
I like that. I like that Connor pick too. That DB out of Utah.
Oh, he looks
I
so
like
good.
that. He's a good
By the way,
player,
they do have a guy, Iko Boyadoya from K-State as well, cornerback. We just signed him. Like literally, I went to camp 2 weeks ago, the first time, and we just signed him then. And now he's playing with the ones. He's already practicing with the ones, playing with the ones. It's like, okay, Veach, what are you doing out here? I know Boodle's probably gonna be gone, but what are you doing out with this guy that nobody knows about here? So we'll have to see what undrafted guys Veach comes away with. But I mean, that's my prediction there.
So to me, the
Alan,
Chiefs win.
yeah, there's no invite for you anymore tonight. So
Yeah.
Tanner is a merciless god on top of his throne.
I might be a nice guy, but
he's pulling that producer card out quick, boy.
Yeah,
like,
he shakes.
No show for you, Alan.
The host and the producer cards.
The Chiefs win the division to me if they're still the Chiefs. That's just that means Andy Reid and Travis Kelce and all them are there. Dude, they don't win the division. Like Tanner said, I was going to say it. If their defense if they can't get a pass rush, it worries me that Chris Jones he's missing practice, but how much in shape is he going to be when he shows up? Clark is gone. Like they're going to have to. It's going to take them some time. Not having a pass rush, I think, could hurt him. That defense is still a little questionable at times. So I think they don't win the division if their defense falls off and isn't in that 15 and above range, like Tanner was saying. So let's move on to Rob's Chargers.
Do you want to do the fantasy?
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, go ahead, Tanner. Scott's not here tonight, so Tanner's going to give us our betting picks and our fantasy picks here.
All right. We'll start with the betting picks here. We kind of talked about it last time on the Sports Buffoons as well. But Pacheco over under 5.5 touchdowns. Last night. So yesterday's line was 4.5. Today's line is 5.5.
What's the plus money on it?
It was minus 115 for under, for over, and it was like minus 105 for under. So okay. I take the over in this.
Yeah,
one
I got that.
I think it now him becoming a main back. Don't worry about this injury qualification. The guy's fine. They're just putting bubble wrap around him. I think with him being the main back now, and possibly see Clyde get cut. McKinnon doesn't usually turn on until week 6. This is what it's going to be. I think he's going to get his goal line downs. He's going to get the touchdowns he needs here, and he'll probably break this thing by week 8. So give me that for Pacheco over 5.5 touchdowns there. And then finally, the fantasy highlight here is Sky Moore. Sky Moore is taking over that Mecole role that he had last year before he got injured, of course. But Sky Moore really stepped up when Mecole went down. You're going to see him really prosper this year. He looked really clean in his route running. His hands looked awesome. I mean, catching just dumb balls on the sidelines there. He's going to really prosper, and he's really making a good connection with Mahomes. Sky Moore's going to be your guy right now. He's going about 50.
What about Justin Ross?
I think he's going to get on the team. He's going to make a splash, but you're probably looking at a late season splash with him. I don't think you're going to see anything right away with Justin Ross. And you can't let him on the practice squad because he's just too tall and everything else like that. He just has to stay healthy. That's the issue. Sky Moore, 51 ranked wide receiver for a full PPR for your draft there. So it's going around guys such as Rashad Bateman, Kadarius Toney, Nico Collins, and Rondale Moore. So you can get the guy within the 10th round and still look good on your team. So Sky Moore is your fantasy value for this team.
Hey, real quick, what's the over-under on the win total, Tanner?
What was it? I didn't even look at that. Was
Probably
it 11.5? I think it was
11.5.
I can tell you here.
I'm proud of you, Tanner. I thought you'd be like, "Hey, they're going to win it anyway. It doesn't matter."
Just take the over, even if it's 17. Even if it's 17, take the over.
Yeah, team futures. Where are you at? AFC West. There it is. That's division winner. I don't know. I'll look at it, Johnny. I'll let you know.
Okay. All right. So go ahead, host. Get it to
All
Rob.
right, we're back. Yeah,
host.
Rob's Chargers. They went 10-7 last year. Out is Kyle Van Noy, Bryce Callahan, Nazir Adderley, and Drew Tranquil. In is, just Eric Kendricks of note and Trey Pipkins. They did draft the wide receiver in the first round, Quentin Johnson, got an edge rusher in the second, and a guy's name we're just not even going to try to pronounce.
Tuli.
Yeah,
Patui.
Yeah, Patui.
I practiced it for nothing.
Darius Davis, Jordan McFadden. They even got Max Duggan. Rob, your Chargers win the division if what?
If we win the division, if these five guys stay healthy, we're talking Rashawn Slater, we're talking Zion Johnson, Corey Linsley, Jamari Slater, and Trey Pipkins. If those five guys stay healthy and play like they can play, the Chargers have a very good possibility of winning division with 12 to 13 wins. Their offensive line, if they can come together and protect Justin Herbert in that new offense, I think the offense is going to be a lot more dynamic. They're going to take more shots down the field, become more vertical. That's going to be perfect for Herbert. So I definitely think this offense is going to be humming, and it's very important for those five guys to stay healthy.
They don't win the division if what, Rob?
Almost every year there seems to be injuries that really, really affect the Chargers. It always seems to kind of mess up their season.
That's Keenan Allen. That's Austin Eckler. They're always, Keenan Allen has and Mike Williams too. Like, have they ever played 16 games?
No, they haven't, and that's
17.
Right, and that's a big problem right there. But the injuries, they have to minimize the injuries on both sides of the ball, the offense and the defensive side. So injuries are going to be what will cost them the division.
Before I move on to anybody else, Austin Eckler, you worried about him and the contract situation? I asked for a trade and nobody called because, running backs are dime a dozen and nobody's paying money.
You just said it right there. Yes, you could be a little worried about him. Will he be back probably next year? Probably no. But like you said, running backs right now are valued very, very minimal in this league. And the Chargers will be able to find somebody to pick up next year if they need to. And they got a couple of running backs that are coming. Joshua Kelly actually looks like he could be possibly somebody who is going to look for more.
He's a player, man. He's a player.
Look for more runs. And so we'll see where he goes.
Yeah, my a 1987 Ford Escort who's had 3 bums fuck in the back seat are worth more than running backs are going more than with the running backs. So,
I agree with that one.
Sam, the Chargers win this division if what?
You put the Ford Escort to crossfire like that?
I did put Ford Escort in the crossfire.
Ain't nobody or nothing safe tonight, boy.
No, man. I'm sleep deprived. You can't throw that at me, okay? Anyway, they win if Herbert just freaking goes off more than he already has. I want this one goes to 11, right? I want it all the way up. I want him to be able to outscore everybody. I want him to keep progressing. That's what I think is going to win. It's just Herbert being like a stud. They lose. I agree with Rob. It's injuries. They have to stop. It seems like it's every single freaking year. And these guys, they need Mike Williams. They need Eckler. They need all these guys to play well. And what's the number one thing? One of the top things in NFL players? Availability. Okay, they need these guys to be available, and they can put a fight up against the Chiefs.
Johnny, what about you? What's your
all right?
I'm pretty much
with Rob on it. I mean, if that offensive line can stay healthy, if they can mesh well, if they can open lanes for Austin Eckler, because he's gonna play. He's a professional. He's gonna play hard. He's got great hands out of the backfield, but health is the key in my opinion. If they can stay healthy, and Kellen Moore can get the best, even better out of Justin Herbert, then I think they have an opportunity to put up a bunch of wins and compete. They won't win the division. I don't want to just say injuries because it's literally the same thing, but if that defense can't stay with the offense, fucking Ed. That defense has a lot of talent, a lot of big names. If Bosa can give you a whole season, if Derwin can give you a whole season, I think that defense has an opportunity to be really good. And then of course, if Staley doesn't do something stupid, you know what I'm saying, then they have an opportunity to win it. But like I said, I think it's all based on injuries and specifically on that offensive line, like Rob mentioned. If that offensive line stays healthy, because they got some good offensive linemen on that team. If they can actually stay healthy and protect Justin Herbert, I think they got a chance. As far as roster wise, they can put up their roster against most teams in the NFL as far as talent. So if they can stay healthy, I think they have an opportunity to win a lot of games.
Just marry Logan if you're going to do it, Johnny. Gee whiz. Like Rob said. It's like my friend Rob said the other day.
That's my boy.
Yeah. I always feel like me and Johnny are good friends until him and Rob are on a show together. Then I'm like,
just admit, Nick, that jealousy starts to build up a little bit.
It does a little bit.
I thought we were crazy.
I always talk first. That's why it happens like this.
Yeah.
Johnny's like, you're right.
Tanner, the Chargers win this division if what?
The Chargers win this division if they are top 7 defense. That was a struggle last year. They put a lot of pieces last year. They put a lot of pieces this year again. Really, trying to invest into this defense. They have an opportunity. Injuries obviously killed them, and then the lack of play there as well going into play. So J.C. Jackson did not look like J.C. Jackson at all. So if this defense can somehow wind up being a top 7 defense, that's going to give more opportunity to the offense, which is what you want the ball in Herbert's hand in the end. So this team wins the division if they're top 7 defense.
All right.
This team loses the division. Obviously, it's the biggest it's the easiest one because it's the one team where I'm going to actually say injuries, right? Injuries, because this is the team that gets the injuries every flipping year. 1 year you had Phillip Rivers and 8 backups around him to start the season. I think it was. Yeah. It literally happens every single year. So injuries is the reason why. By the way, I do want to tell you, Nick, that get off of Eckler's train. He had 16 games in 2021, 17 games in 2022. Get off the injury bum with Mr. Eckler, okay?
All right. We can agree though. Mike Williams and
you can stick with those guys.
Yeah, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, and the defense, bro. Bosa has missed a lot. Derwin James has missed a lot.
You go down the list. But Eckler is safe. He has 2 years in a row.
Till this year, because you're
saying. Don't you say it. Don't you say it.
Yeah, knock on wood.
Rough
man.
night for Nick. He's losing his best friend.
It's always
he's getting jerked off the train.
Players wind up getting hurt, which is makes it even worse. You know what I'm saying? You lose Bosa for most of a year. You lost Derwin James for long periods of time. Mike Williams. So your stars are getting hurt. That makes it even worse.
I mean, honestly, the whole issue, the whole thing with the Chargers, we should say, is the Chargers win this division if they can respond in a positive manner with all the injuries.
Yeah,
that's what it should be. But I'm trying to resist that part because there is more to it.
The Chargers win the division to me if that offense can go. Like if Kellen Moore can reiterate and we can see some deep downfield throws from Justin Herbert. They got the 3 good wide receivers. I mean, the kid that they drafted is going to be really good. Johnson, he could be that Antonio Gates type in this offense. Like, he's a big wide receiver near the end zone. Plus you got Keenan Allen and Mike Williams there and Herbert. Like this team is all the stars on both sides of the football. They don't win the division if their coach Arnie's it. And I mean Arnie from What's Eating Gilbert Grape, if you know what I mean. So that's
wow.
That's on him. They don't win the division if their coach Arnie's it. So
wild card, Nick just pulling it out. Damn.
So that's what they don't win the division because their coach. I just firmly believe that they got everything you can have to match up to the Chiefs, other than the coach. They have a great quarterback. They probably have better receivers than the Chiefs. They have probably a better defense than the Chiefs. But what they don't have. Yeah, better running back.
Hey, we're not on the Eckler train. We're told to get off. Remember?
Yeah, what they don't have is
what
they don't have is the coach, and Andy Reid is leagues above Staley.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Tanner, give us our fantasy and betting aspects on the Chargers here.
All right, so the betting aspect for the Chargers is, of course, Mr. Eckler out here, 799.5 rushing yards over or under on this one here. You're looking at the over at -112 and the under at -110. This is a guy where I'm going to take the under this year because I think you're going to see a little bit more Kelly. You're going to see a little bit more Spiller, but you're going to see Eckler really in that pass game once again for this team here. So I think I like the under of the 799.5 at -110. And the fantasy aspect, of course, is another receiver. And this is the young guy, Quentin Johnston, that you just talked about there, Nick. Sitting at 46 overall best receiver in full PPR leagues right now. You got guys around him such as Juju, Michael Thomas, Elijah Moore, and then Zay Flowers, Jacoby Byers, and Rashad Bateman. Yes, he is very close to Sky Moore. This is a guy that's going to get a lot of targets. He's officially right now on Orlats. He is the right side receiver. He is the number 2 technical receiver because Keenan Allen will be playing slot. You're going to see this guy in the offense a bunch, and Herbert loves the guy. Quentin Johnston is very talented, as we saw at TCU, as we've seen in training camp. This guy's going to get his targets. He's going to get his receptions, and he's going to make some big plays. Quentin Johnston should be on your fantasy radar.
Yeah, no doubt. Yep. Let's move into the next team, and that is the Raiders at 6-11. Out is Derek Carr. This will be quick. Out is the other quarterback. Out is Foster Moreau.
Johnny, you feeling it today,
Mac Hollins. It is Jimmy G, Austin Hooper, Jacoby Myers, and Josh Jacobs is still sitting out as well. And then they brought in Tyrese Wilson in the first round. Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame, one of the top tight ends in the draft. Byron Young, Trey Tucker out of Cincinnati in the third. Then they brought in Aiden O'Connell out of Purdue, who's played pretty well in the first preseason game. So, Rob, what's your thoughts here on the Raiders? They win the division if what?
They win the division if Jimmy G is the MVP of the league.
Okay.
Listen, he's going to have to play so much better than he's ever played to make up for all of the lack of talent that are on the Raiders' offensive side of the ball. So this question is very hard to answer just because when you're thinking about it, it's very hard to think that the Raiders winning the division. I definitely think they are the bottom feeders in the division. And so they won't win the division just because of the lack of talent that they have.
God. Oh, I need to sleep.
They don't win the division if what?
Well, they don't win the division just because of the lack of talent that they have on their team.
Tanner, we'll start with you. Raiders win the division if what?
The Raiders win the division, and it's my notes are blank. So that's they don't win the division because
the universe explodes.
They don't have any talent. It's not going to be a good team this year. McDaniels is coaching. It's not going to be good. It's plain and simple, not going to be good right now. That is my Raiders take right now. I have nothing else to talk about.
Wow.
They don't win the division if what?
By the way, that's positivity towards the Packers because at least I gave them a reason. I couldn't give the Raiders anything right now.
All right.
God,
they don't win the division at all. Or they don't win the division if what happens?
Who?
The Raiders.
He forgot who we were talking about already. He's done. He ain't talking about
He's
the
done.
Okay,
Sam. Go ahead, Sam. The Raiders win the division if what?
They
guys, are we going to put up with Big Head Tanner the entire show? I mean, God, hey, we're just asking some questions, man. Just chill out. They win the division. Love you, Tanner. We win the division, or we win. The Raiders win the. I need to go to bed. The Raiders win the division if basically Josh McDaniels, like everything comes together like a Rain Man situation, counting cards, and the guys actually play for that son of a bitch. So, but I don't see that happening, of course. They lose the division if they just keep doing what they're doing. I'll just be honest with you. It's like, oh, jeez. It's just dominoes that fall. And every time they fall for the Raiders, they go the exact opposite way of where they need to go. And the Raiders need to change course if they want anything. What is it that Joker said in the first Batman movie? This town needs an enema. Like that team needs an enema.
Johnny, the Raiders win the division if what?
Yeah, Johnny.
I mean, the Raiders win the division if
he's nervous because Rob.
If Patrick Mahomes, if Justin Herbert, and if Russell Wilson all decide that they don't want to play, or they all three of them get injured, and even then they may not win the division.
Keep going. Keep going.
I actually like the draft that they had. I mean, I'm a little iffy about Tyree Wilson at number 7, even though he's a good player, but Michael Mayer is a good player. Byron Young from the defensive tackle from Alabama is a good player.
Good rookies.
Trey Tucker is a really good wide receiver out of Cincinnati. So I like some of the pieces that they've gotten, but they got Josh McDaniels is their head coach. Davis is their owner. They're the Raiders, so they are not going to win the division regardless of anything. They'll lose the division because they are that bad, and they're going to lose the division. So, I mean, there's not really much to say as far as why. I think we all know why. They just don't have enough talent to compete with anybody else in that division. Freaking Ed, man. And if you haven't, if you want to see more of Ed live, check out the Scott Cove show. We had him on there earlier today. Definitely check it out. We had a lot of fun with Ed interviewing.
Shameless plug, so Johnny. Check it out. Shameless.
Yeah, I have no shame when it comes to plugging stuff, bro. It's all good. So yeah, that's my Raiders take, man. It's just not gonna happen. They're gonna be in line for that first pick, bro.
Yeah, I agree. It's just one of them teams. They win the division if, like Rob said, Jimmy G's becomes Patrick Mahomes or something.
Right.
It just balls out and that's his MVP. They don't win this division. I just don't see a way they're going to lose this division. They're going to be, we're going to do our picks here, and I think we're all you can tell we're already all on what team's finishing 4th here. So Tanner, is there any betting that we should do on the Raiders and fantasy and pick up any fantasy players?
What's the over under our wins so we can all take the under now?
Well, the Chiefs is 11.5.
Okay.
On this,
Chiefs is 11.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
He really didn't want to talk about the Raiders today, did he? He was like
6.5. 6.5.
6.5 for the Raiders.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm taking the under on that. Like
9.5 for the Chargers as well. So you guys have
that's
that.
about right.
All right. So I don't have blank notes for the betting aspect of this because I thought it was pretty entertaining in this one. So the Raiders, we are going back to Jimmy G into this one here. Now, I'm going to give you the last 4 seasons, okay, and his yards. Last year, he finished out with just short of 25. He was at 24.37. 2021, 38.10. 2020, 1,096. And Super Bowl year that he went to play the Chiefs, 3,978. Okay. His over-under right now, over on 3,300 0.5 yards passing. It's even on the over, and it's under on the minus 120. And I'm taking that minus 120, and I'm throwing a lot of money down because this guy in a Super Bowl year had to get out, got a chance to actually get over 3,000 yards. And 2021, where they were good, they went to the championship as well, the NFC championship, threw over 3,000 yards. But he also had Debo running out of the backfield like a madman as well that year too. You don't have a Debo. Devontae Adams is not Debo. Hunter Renfrow is too hurt. You're relying on Jacoby Myers to try to save your receiving core. This guy's not getting past 3,300 yards, 0.5. Okay, take the under on that one. I will say the fantasy aspect, because fantasy, you don't have to worry about bad teams. They're just bad teams. There's players that will produce on bad teams. Don't tell JG that because he doesn't understand. We're going to go into another receiver here. I like a lot of these receivers for this team. It is going to be Jacoby Myers this year. Jacoby Myers will get his share of targets over Devontae. He'll get his targets despite Hunter Renfrow's injuries that'll happen throughout the season. There's no Darren Waller. You got to remember this. No Darren Waller. Josh Jacobs still isn't there yet. You got the question marks behind those top three receivers as well in that play. Jacoby Myers right now is 48th best. Guys around him, such as Quentin Johnston, Zay Flowers, as well as Rashad Bateman, Tony Moore, or Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore. Guys we've been talking about already. 9th, 10th, 11th round. Go get yourself a Jacoby Myers. It's a good stash, and it doesn't matter if Aiden O'Connell's throwing out there. They're going to get to Jacoby Myers. And we saw what Jacoby did with Mac Jones. He'll be fine with it despite the quarterback play. So that's your fantasy for the Raiders.
All right, let's jump into the last team in the division here. It's the Broncos. They fired, their head coach. They blame him for everything. Even Sean Payton blames him for everything. They went 5-12 last year. Out the door is guard Billy Turner, Demonte Jones, guard Dalton Renser, and an offensive line that was just dog shit anyway. So they bring in Mike McGlinchey, one of the best tackles in the game. Got him to a huge contract. Bring in Kyle Fuller, bring in Kareem Jackson, Samaje P. Ryan. In the draft, they got Marvin Mims at Oklahoma. They didn't have a first-round pick. Then they got Drew Sanders out of Arkansas. They got a white corner in Riley Moss. So there's that. And out of Iowa. So white guys covering. That's always questionable. Rob, the Broncos win this division if what?
Well, Russell Wilson obviously is the big question mark, I think, for this team. Does he go back to his old form when he was on the Seahawks, or was last year more of an indication of a downward spiral for Russell Wilson? So if Russell Wilson goes back to the play that he was and the player that he was on the Seahawks, Denver could possibly win this division.
They don't win the division if what?
They don't win. Listen, this is another team. They are a little bit better than Raiders, but it's going to be a two-dog race in the AFC West. But they don't win just because Russell Wilson is on a downward spiral, and Sean Payton is actually an overrated coach.
Sam will go with you.
Hot take by Rob already.
I love it.
The Broncos win this division if what?
Listen, before I looked up the Raiders, I actually had the Broncos losing this division. I saw how bad the Raiders were. So I think the Broncos are going to have – I'm being totally serious. I think the Broncos are going to have a rough time. I don't think Sean Payton's going to make that much of a difference. I think he is, Rob. I think Russell is in a downturn. I think this is it. And they win the division if Sean Payton can think of a way to cover up Russell Wilson's bad play. They lose the division if they can't get anything going on offense by any run game, by anything. Like they just can't move up and down the field.
Johnny, what about you? We'll go back to you.
All right. They win the division if Sean Payton can get Russell Wilson back to his Seattle form. And the other part of that too is if the defense can actually step up and beat the defense of a couple years ago and return to that type of form. But it's more on what Sean Payton can get out of Russ. If he can get Russ to play and Javonte Williams can come back healthy. They picked up P-Ron, like you mentioned. They also picked up Ben Powers on the offensive line. So the offensive line is pretty stacked up compared to last season. But yeah, it's all on Russell Wilson. If Sean Payton can resurrect, Russell Wilson and he can play well, they have an opportunity to win this division. They lose the division if that defense doesn't play top 10, 12 defense. If they're in the bottom half of the league in defense,
future is too
they're not going to win. They're not going to win many games. I'm trying to speak over these comments from Ed, and it is hard as hell. But if the defense isn't a top 10 to 12 defense, they can't win the division. And of course, it also links up with if Russell is actually on the decline, then it doesn't matter what the defense does. So,
Tanner, the Broncos win this division.
Look at he's stretching. Oh yeah, get loose, bud. Get loose. You have to talk about another team in your division. I know it's hard.
This is a multi-step deal on the win the division part, right? This is Sean Payton coming in and having a Doug Peterson effect onto this franchise right now, especially after the freaking stuff they had last year. This is a Jerry Jeudy has to be 1,000+ receiver this year. This is a Javonte Williams has to be 1,000-yard rusher this year. This defense has to be top 10. There's a bunch of combinations in this play. That means if Judy's 1,000+, that means Sutton's probably hanging around 700, and Marvin Mims is probably hanging around 600, 700 as well. And that's exactly what you want to do to be able to win this division. This team loses the division if there's no Doug Peterson effect, and if Russell Wilson, like Ryan said it out there, Mr. Larison, if Russell Wilson just gets pressured non-freaking stop, and this offense doesn't move anywhere.
Yeah, I think the Broncos win this division. If we get old Seattle Russ back, if he stops looking at his feet and can look down the field, if that offensive line can protect him, and he's never really won without a top 10 defense. If that defense can also be a top 10 defense, which it has the talent to do so. Patrick Surtain is an absolute stud of a corner. They have a good, solid defense that they can just continue to build upon. A couple years ago when Vic Fangio was there, that's what they were building that thing on their defense. But now, last year with, and they don't win this division if Nathaniel Hackett if it wasn't his fault. If it wasn't his fault, then and this team is that bad and Russ is that bad, that's when they don't win this division. But if they win this division, if Russ is Seattle Russ, that defense plays well, then maybe it was Hackett's fault. And we're going to find out in about the first 4 or 5 games of the season. Tanner, give us our betting and our fantasy aspects for the final team here before we start making some picks.
Mr. Laris don't like the fantasy aspect of it. Let's start with the betting here. Judy over 4.5 receiving touchdown. Over -128, under -120. It's still within betting range for me. Give me the over. His last 3 years, he played, started 14 games, played 16, had 3 touchdowns his rookie year. He only played 10 games in second year, but he only started 5 of those, had 0. But last year was 6 touchdowns, started 14 games, had 100 targets there. This guy's going to get the ball. Russell Wilson likes this guy a lot. We saw it towards the end of the year. Judy Wilson connection is there. Give me the over. Go bet on it. It's still bettable. That's still at 128. That's the best bet there. So over 4.5 there. And then the fantasy selection is not a receiver this time. I almost went Marvin Mims because I think he's going to have a good year. But we're going to go tight end, and we're going to go Greg Dulcich out there with Denver there. And this is a guy that's going deep as well. He's 14th ranked tight end in full PPR right now. This is a guy that you can get generally in the 12th round, 11th, 12th round. He's a great guy to pair with Russell Wilson, who isn't going till the 15th, 16th, 17th rounds. So that's a great way to pair a guy late. especially if you get Judy up front on the front side of your draft as well. Dulcich is going to be a target. He was kind of a target towards the end of the last year, and it's going to happen this year. I think Greg Dulcich is going to be a dominant tight end, kind of what you saw with Peyton Manning at one time. Had to have his dominant tight end. This will be your dominant tight end for Russell Wilson. So,
all right, we'll get into making some picks. So we start off with the fourth place and work our way up to the first place. So give us your fourth place team and how many wins.
Well, I think that's going to be pretty apparent. The Raiders will be the last place team, and I would go 5 wins.
Go ahead.
That's a bit generous right there. I got them in last. I got them at 3-14.
Sam?
Whew. Goodness gracious, Johnny. I mean, I know they're bad, but I'm with Rob Logan. I think it's 5 wins. I got them at 5.
So we're all in on the Raiders. Tanner, how many wins for the Raiders here?
What I picked for the Packers? Do you remember?
3.
Oh,
I think it was 3 because we're going to bet on that whenever you get some cojones.
So 2 wins for the Raiders.
2 wins for the Raiders.
2
so
wins
the Raiders
for the
get the number 1 pick.
I got the Raiders at 5 wins. I got them at
get the
5.
hammer.
5 wins, finishing dead last in the division. And they'll get a good quarterback, maybe. So the Raiders.
I'm still worthy.
Rob, your third place team is who?
Broncos, and I'll give them 7 wins this year. I think Sean Payton will have a little bit more of a positive effect than Hackett did last year. So I'm going to go 7 wins with them.
Tanner, we'll go back to you.
Third place. It's gonna be close between second and third place. I can tell you that much. I mean, this is a coin toss differential at this point here. I'm going the Chargers at third place. I think there's going to be an unfortunate injury, as there is every year.
Don't fall into the trap, Rob. He's on top of the world right now.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I think the Chargers do it, and it's going to be by 1 game. So give me still 9 wins for the Chargers in this difference.
So you got the Chargers with 9 wins. Sam, what about you? No, I didn't upgrade it. Same one.
Yeah. I've got the Broncos. Rob is obviously looking off my homework because I also have them at 7 wins.
Johnny?
I got the Broncos in third place, but I got them with 8 wins. I got them going 8 and 9.
Ooh.
Well, call me and Tanner. We must be smelling something because, as I always say,
nobody agrees with me.
Chargers gonna Charger. I coined it, and that means you're finishing 500.
You can't hammer it though, because 3 of us went with the Broncos.
This is my pick though, so I'm hammering my own damn pick, Johnny.
Oh, now it doesn't mean anything. If you hammer that, it doesn't mean anything.
The Chargers gonna Charger. They're gonna finish with 8 wins. They're gonna be 8 and 9. The Chargers gonna Charger.
Nick.
Their coach is definitely gonna Arnie, and the Chargers are the third place team.
The only good thing about that is that Rob, you'll get your new coach, Rob, if that happens, bro.
Rob, your second place team.
Well, I was originally going to go one way, but after these last couple picks, I'm going Chiefs for the second place team.
Hey, every guest we've had one guest not pick his team. So you fall in line, you homer.
And I'll go 12 wins and second place for the Chiefs.
Wow.
Look at Tanner. I like you.
Sam, go ahead.
Like balls.
Sam, your second place team is what?
My second place team is the Chargers. Thank you for not copying off my homework this time, Rob. I appreciate it. I got them at 10 wins. I got them going 10 and 7. I think things start to come together a little bit this year. Probably because Staley's going to get fired like 4 games into the season, like you said, and they start to put it together.
So, Johnny?
Yeah, I got the Chargers in second place, but I got them with 1 more win than Sam. I got them at 11 and 6. Sorry, Rob, but he's not going to get fired, at least not in the beginning of the season. I think Justin Herbert's going to have a really, really good year. I think they stay fairly healthy. But yeah, I got them at 11 and 6 in second place.
Tanner, go ahead.
Now let's all remember here. But
Oh God!
In the Chargers world, and still got canned. Doesn't mean Staley's free if he has 11 wins.
True.
Yeah, Schottenheimer. Man.
Yeah, 14 and 2.
Where you go in the playoffs, you lose in the playoffs. You still can't.
Wherever you go, wherever you
obviously
go.
The Broncos are my second place team here, but I also got them at 9 wins because I think they're going to win the tiebreaker against the Chargers this year. So that's where I got.
All right, Nick.
All right. So I got the Broncos here. Obviously I got the Chiefs in first, but I got the Broncos. I said the Chargers would be 8 wins, 9 wins for the Broncos here, 1 game above the Chargers. So 9 wins for the Broncos, your second place team. Rob, go ahead and give us your first place team. Who's winning?
Charge. Anyway, go ahead.
Chargers with 13 wins, and Staley wins Coach of the Year.
Oh my God!
Wow.
You're a madman. You're a madman, sir.
Rob, are you doing cocaine in Jersey, or are you smoking weed? Because I feel like cocaine's pretty prevalent in Jersey.
Well, actually, listen, no. If the injury bug does not hit the Chargers, from a talent standpoint, they match up with almost any team in the AFC.
Yeah.
And I know that injuries always usually do happen with the Chargers, but this could be the one year that it doesn't.
All right.
This could be it, guys. Right?
I said that last.
All right. I guess we'll let Tanner go last since it's what I'm saying for his team.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Go ahead.
So I got the Chiefs winning the division, and I got them at 13-4.
Sam.
Chiefs 12-5. Too strong, too powerful.
Tanner, how many wins for your Chiefs?
The Chiefs, of course, guys. It's going to be 12 wins. Okay. But you got number 2. It is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight AFC West titles for this Kansas City team. It's also 5 straight AFC championship games for this team. So 12 wins is appropriate because they always like to drop a dumb game like they did with the Colts last year. So, but
do you drop one to the Chargers? That's my question. Do you drop?
We did it last year.
I'm just asking. Do you?
I don't think so. I think you have another freaking nail biter game like it always with freaking Chargers. But I think the Chiefs pull away. So give me that. I'm not doing it for you, Alan. I'm mad at you now.
I got the Chiefs as well. I got them at they won 14 games last year. I got them at 13 games this year instead of 12. So I got the Chiefs. The Chiefs are headed back to the playoffs. Tanner just said it. 7th straight year for the AFC.
We gotta do it, guys.
Give it up for the Kansas City Chiefs. Your AFC West Division champs. Tanner, cue the music.
Oh, I'm off rhythm. I'm sorry. Oh, damn it.
Rob, we appreciate you joining us. Tell the people what you got going on, Rob, before you get out of here.
Well, I got my interview show that I do weekly. I've been enjoying that. That's been a lot of fun. We just had 2 weeks ago. I had Bryce, who's a big Chief fan, who will be with us for our AFC West shows. So that was great talking to him. And then I had Bobby G this past week.
Nice.
So we've been having some good times with that. And so look for me on that.
Are you going on Bobby's show at all sometime?
I think so. Yes.
Nice.
Representing the Chargers. Yep.
There you go.
Nice. Well, Rob, stop hobnobbing it up with Mad Dog Chris Russo and hobnob up it with us a little bit more every once in a while. Don't forget where you came from, Rob. We appreciate you, brother. Give it up for Logan.
Rob's the man.
Have a good one, bud.
Take care.
Love Rob.
All right.
All right.
I don't love him as much as Johnny, but I love him.
AFC West preview. Before we get into the UFC 292 preview, Johnny, go ahead and get us to that ad read.
All right.
Is it underdog or
Which one do you want me to do, Sam?
Underdog.
All right, so I'm gonna go and let you guys know about our friends over at Owner's Box. Owner's Box is a daily fantasy app. Make sure you use the promo code LTS, and they will match you up to a $500 deposit, which is insane to me, but they are doing it for you. So definitely check out our friends over at Owner's Box. Again, it's a daily fantasy app. Make sure you use the promo code LTS, and they will match you up to $500 on your first deposit. More chances to win because they have a lot of games there that you can check out. Owner's Box, daily fantasy app, promo code LTS, match $500 on your first deposit. Doesn't get any better than that. Check them out.
All right, it's time to bring in. We got UFC Fight Night. We've been bringing this guy in for all our fights. It's UFC 292. Yeah. Headlining is Aljamain Sterling, the bantamweight champ, just a few months ago. Beat Henry Cejudo, taking on a guy we haven't seen in almost a year in the hype machine that is none other than Sugar Sean O'Malley. And to help us break it down, host of, is it Talk Out Loud? Shout Out Loud.
Hear me out.
Hear me out, Nick Skinner.
Hear me out.
Also, the sports put up for none other than our guy Whit, baby.
Yeah, what up?
You gotta be careful. Nick likes to rename shows and channels. So
I was just about to say we can call it let me say something.
Let me talk to you.
Right. Shout out to LA Knight, man. What's going on, guys? How y'all doing tonight?
What up?
Let's start. How you feeling about this fight? These fights on Saturday. Sneaky good card here. I mean, they might as well call this the Bantamweight Grand Prix.
Well, you're exactly right. I was just about to say, like, these smaller, diminutive fighters are coming with a lot of power in some of these fights. One of the things that I do want to highlight is that in the prelims, we are going to have the finals fight for both the bantamweights and in the who is
the lightweights, the
lightweights.
Tanner's got it pulled up. No,
right because right now with the Ultimate Fighter, it's all all the rookies were pretty much taken out. These are all pretty much journeymen who have all been in the UFC. I'm really excited about this one because as somebody that literally I got it on TV. TiVo's not a big thing anymore, but I got my DVR set, so I come and watch Tuesday nights, maybe 1-2 o'clock in the morning. I watched every episode, and I was kind of glued to my TV for these last two fights. And in my opinion, these are gonna be some of the best, semifinals, well, pretty much finals fights for the Ultimate Fighter that we've seen in a long time. First and foremost, we got to talk about Brad Katona and Cody Gibson. I don't know if you know, but Brad Katona is trying to be the two-time Ultimate Fighter champion. When we talk about bantamweights, he did it. He had some really good fights, but he took some loss, some really. I feel like when I watched the film, it was like an awkward loss, and then they just didn't, maybe Dana had too much going on. He didn't know what to do with him. And
fights out of Connor's gym.
Right, yeah, he fights out of Connor's gym, and then what happened was, if you're watching the show, what ended up happening was, he's fighting out of Connor's gym, but he's not fighting with Connor on the show until the semifinals when pretty much all of the rookies lost. And you know what I'm saying? I was like, well, dang, what's he going to do? Well, sure enough, hey, look, he's like, hey, I'm going to fight with my trainers. I'm going to be with my guys. This is what I think is best for me. And bam, the switch pretty much went off. I don't know if you guys have watched the show, but when I think about what a serial killer might look like,
Amen.
And it's a really creepy thing for a man to go, he's in the ring with me for 15 minutes and I'm free in that ring. And I'm like, wow, okay, all right. But not to give him too much clout, you got to talk about Cody Gibson. I loved his fight in the semifinals. What's my guy's name? Rico DeSuyo, right? So Rico was the puncher. He was the only guy that won for Connor's team for the rookies, and pretty much it was going to be a clean sweep. It's never happened before. But he went up against Cody and was anticipating an easy win because Cody has a minor, and it's still pretty much going on. Cody got a minor PCL tear during the season, and somehow, some way, he fighting through it. He's a tough SOB, and literally in the middle of the fight, DeSuyo had him wrapped up. You could say, because you could tell he can punch pretty hard, but I guess he got that inexperience kicked in and he slipped, and boom, and Cody Gibson played him like a rag doll right after that. He was on the mat. He was on top of him for like the whole rest of the fight until he got him in a triangle choke and tapped him out. And so now we got to go Kachona, Gibson. For me, this looks like a match set up for them to have Katona win, because they've been beefing the whole show. They literally been beefing the whole show. And Brad Katona's like, I don't care. I don't like anyone. We're not friends.
I'm only here to win. Yes, I'm only here to become the Ultimate Fighter.
I must
don't want
break
any
you.
friends. Yeah,
but talks like Gollum almost.
Yeah, right. But I like Cody in it. If it's gonna go to the mat, I got a feeling, man. Katona's got those hands of steel. He might, catch him on the chin with that one. Then second off, what I'm saying, of course, we got to talk about Kurt Hellebuyck and Austin Hubbard. Real talk, if you watched it, Kurt Hellebuyck pretty much had the fight of the season against Jason Knight. Two country boys. Pretty much, if you were watching and paying attention, they kept saying they were supposed to fight 3 years ago in a local promotion down where they're at in Mississippi and Louisiana. And I think Jason Knight had a car accident.
Yeah.
It pretty much derailed the whole thing. But they kept saying, man, you good, boy. Wait till we get in that ring. We're going to scrap it out. We're going to knuckle up, man. It's going to be a slobber knocking. And literally, they gave us one for the books, in my opinion. But, of course, on the back end, Kurt Hellebuyck did not back down at all, gave Jason Knight no space, and pretty much took the fight in the second round by TKO. Now, Austin Hubbard, that was a sneaky one. Austin Hubbard pretty much won by split decision over somebody I and other people in some of the little groups I'm in. He beat Roosevelt Roberts. I watched Roosevelt literally on UFC Fight Nights. He fought when they first brought the UFC back when COVID was happening. You know what I'm saying? He got knocked out. Yeah, he got knocked out. It was a good fight until he got knocked out. But, shout out to Roosevelt Roberts for taking that. And then, of course, this is another one where the styles make fights, and pretty much these are two guys that you're thinking are going to stand up and bang. But Austin Hubbard has that extra, I think it's like a jiu-jitsu background. And, he has his own gym and stuff like that. He was showing his kids and all kind of stuff. And I was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Not only is he good, but he's training, it's kind of like the next generation. So if the fight goes to the mat, I'm really going to give it to Austin Hubbard. But I don't think it's going to happen. I really want to see Kurt Hellebuyck take him out, go ahead and knock him and make it happen.
Hey, Whit, I got to get your thoughts about the pre-lane main event. We finally, after 2 long years, almost 3 years, 2 long years, I guess, none other than the All-American Chris Weidman. He's going to come back to I won't back down. No, I won't back down. He had the severe leg injury. He's going up against Brad Tavares. What's your thoughts on finally the All-American, the former middleweight champ, Chris Weidman, making his comeback?
All right, now I can't lie to you guys. I have a bias against this fight because when I was younger, this was a UFC fight that I paid for, had my friends over to watch, girlfriend and all, eating chicken wings, and I watched my man Anderson Silva break his leg on a check kick. Then 2 fights later, same thing happens to Weidman. I thought it was karma, but but in reality, Chris Weidman was really top tier before the injury happened. Just like you said, the All-American, his wrestling background, his wrestling acumen is top tier. And just like everybody knows, when it comes to UFC, in my opinion, if you can wrestle or you're anywhere between a black belt or a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, this is where you stand. But Brad Tavares ain't no joke, man. Literally, yeah.
He's no joke, but I got the All-American. I always give you my dog on the card.
That's your dog.
I'm hammering the All-American Weidman on his comeback. There's no way after 2.5 years after that injury, he's going to lay down. He's at plus 220. Chris Weidman is my dog on this card, baby. The All-American Chris Weidman is back.
Hey, look, man.
But Nick,
like
Brad has a tattoo on his nipple. That he's going to kill somebody. Come on, man. That's a sensitive area. He did it.
Hey, let's get into the main card. Whit, the opening up the card is I've told Johnny this before. Marlon Chito Vera is probably the top 5 coolest dudes in the world, and he is back after a lackluster fight against Corey Sandhagen. He's taking on number 10 ranked Pedro Munoz. Who you like in this one? Chito, the favorite at minus 198.
Now, this is what I got to say, right? You see the book that I normally got? We're throwing it out the window for the main card because I'm going to tell you guys what. All of these fights to me are all toss-ups. I love Chito Vera. His interviews, post-fights, everything in between, I love how he is as a person.
Coolest dude walking planet Earth. Top 5 all time.
Definitely. Got to be. But Pedro Munoz is coming in there right now in a sense of saying, I think, desperation for one of the losses he took in the last 3 fights. I think this is one Chito has to take on the chin, and he loses in this one. Also, that's pretty much one of my dogs on the card for this one. Now don't get it twisted. I won't be surprised if somewhere in between the first and second round, straight up and down, it just a knockout happens, and I put it in Vera's corner. Yeah, I saw that.
I got Chito Vera winning this one. That's for sure. I just think that he's going to rebound. He needs this fight. O'Malley already said, "Hey, you win, I win. We're doing it in December for the championship." So I got Chito holding up his end of the bargain here. Then we get a guy, this Damon Blackshear fought last weekend, turns around, and he's fighting a short notice fight in 7 days. He's fighting Mario Batista. Whit, what's your thoughts about this? The only Batista I know is Batista in WWE, baby.
This is another one right here. It's a toss-up because, of course, Damon Blackshear put on a good, from what I saw in the highlights, put on a good show in a week. You know what I'm saying? And what I want to say is the reality of the damage that it wasn't too much of a damaging fight. He did really well, actually. Is the damage that he might have sustained going to play a factor into this fight? Mario Bautista is known for having a gas tank. Of course, being that this isn't for a belt or anything, that we're expecting 3 rounds, of course. But does he wear him out on the ground? Does Bautista somehow figure out a way to use his hands in this fight? I really don't know. This is it's a real toss-up for me. I want to go Damon Blackshear because, so in some cases, look, he's already primed and ready from his last fight, but at the same time, Bautista's, his skill set is made to catch a guy off guard. He's really a counter puncher and one of those guys that, okay, look, hey, we're on the mat, we're on the ground. If you mess around, he gets you back. It's a Darce choke, triangle choke. He's one of those cats. So this one seriously is a toss-up.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Batista on this one. The animal, baby, Batista. I just think it's too tough to turn around after 7 days' notice after fighting and then fight somebody again. So give me Batista, baby.
Got you. Oh, yeah.
Let's get into another fight on short notice. Ian Gary's been on this fight. He was supposed to fight Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal drops out. In comes Mr. Game himself, Neil Magny. Neil Magny has won more fights at welterweight than anybody, but he comes in as a dog here at plus 380, facing the future Ian Gary, who is minus 500. I really love Ian Gary. He can talk the talk and walk the walk. He looked really good in his last fight against D-Rod that got him ranked, and now he fights another ranked fighter here, Neil Magny, who's always been kind of that gatekeeper for everybody.
Just like you mentioned, man, my man Neil Magny, I love him to death. I wanted to go to that last fight when they had a UFC Jacksonville. Neil Magny fought Philip Rowe. It looked, if you saw that fight, you know how like they do the Spider-Verse where they go, no, you're Spider-Man, you're Spider-Man, no, you. That's how him and Philip Rowe looked in the ring because I swear they looked like the same guy. But I love Neil Magny. One of his first fights was in the Underground Railroad to see who was going to ride on the horse. So I really want to say that Neil Magny's all of his wins are really, and his what you would want to call basically his long lasting ability to remain a top welterweight fighter and not necessarily get to the top 5 is going to play into this one. Ian Gary, I think this is going to. Everybody sometimes takes one of those bumps in the road and gives you, and it's kind of like a turnaround. I think Ian Gary hasn't faced somebody whose skill set is really like everywhere. Neil Magny's good on the ground. He's good standing up. He's good in the clinch. He's good against the fence. He's not great. Don't get me wrong. He's not great, but he is good. I think this is one Neil Magny takes, and it's like secretly nobody knows that, he's a vampire and he's like really 120.
So you're taking Neil Magny at plus 380.
I think so, man.
I'm on the opposite end. Ian Gary's he's in Boston. They're doing the Connor route. Remember when Connor fought in Boston, got the big win, and everybody cheered. Heavy, Irish population there in Boston.
Huge Irish population.
I like Ian Gary to get it done. He's going to be sitting at home. This kid, he's on this meteor rise here. This is another win that the UFC, they want him to win this fight because he's the type of guy who can talk the talk and walk the walk. So give me Ian Gary, baby. We get into the co-main.
This is going to be one we're going to talk about because just like you said, UFC likes to throw Neil Magny out there as a stumbling block. So let's see if he stumbles or not. Oh yeah, let's go ahead. Get to the co-main. I love this one. Zhang Weili. Okay.
And Amanda Lemos. The champ Zhang Weili versus Amanda Lemos. The odds are even here. I'm surprised how even there's no odds listed. Who you like in this one?
Listen, I was one of those. I think me and you talked about the Zhang Weili fight, and I was like, look, she's not playing. She was on that path where the women she's fought in the last few fights, it looks like they get surprised when she hits them. And I watched some of this. I watched some of it. I don't want to say it like that, but I watched some of the highlights at work. It looks like they get surprised when they hit her every time. So I'm liking Zhang Weili to be and still at the end of this, but Amanda Lemos. Hey, look, this is not for the faint of heart. This young lady has also had her trials and tribulations to get to this point. So
she was a taxi driver, right? She was, or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She was not into the UFC, and then all of a sudden now she's fighting in the co-main event. I wouldn't be surprised if this made it to the scorecard. I really would, because I think Lemon's her last fight, she pretty much withstood a barrage of punches. I saw that, but Zhang Weili hits different. So I'm really excited to see whether this is going to go to the cards or not. But if it ends in a knockout, I'm definitely taking Zhang Weili on this one.
Yeah, it just seems like the only person that can beat Weili is Rose, right? Thug Rose.
Yeah,
she's not fighting her.
That's it.
Weili has beaten everybody else. She beat, the way she beat Joanna Jacek both times. I mean, Joanna Jacek, the first fighter, she had looked like a Star Wars character with her dome hanging out way out here, and then beat her down the second time. And then just took care of the champ the last time.
And that's what I was talking about, the Joanna and Jacek fight.
Yes, yeah, both fights, and then the fight against the former champ Esparza, Carla Esparza. She beat her down. This is my lock of the night. Weili is one of the baddest women walking God's green earth, and she can beat it about 90% of every men and women walking it. So I got Zhang Weili, and still UFC women's strawweight champ. We get into the main. There's some bad blood here. You got Aljamain, who says he's the workhorse. He didn't even want to take this fight on such a shorter notice. He just fought 3 months ago. So quick turnaround versus the guy everybody says has got the Dana White privilege, the hype machine that is Sugar Sean O'Malley. Fight styles make fights. Aljo's going to want to wrestle. We know that. Sean's going to want to take this standing up. And because, standing, he's got the reach. And, man, he is one of the best stand-up fighters in the UFC, no matter what weight class. Who do you like in this one, Whit?
All right, so we got this is one all to be peeled for this matchup. Aljamain Sterling, Sean O'Malley, the Sugar Show is back. If you guys the standoff that they had in the ring with Aljamain Sterling after he defended the title, pretty much, it was signed and sealed that they were going to fight then, and he basically said, "Look, man, Papa Dana can't save you. I hope you better get past the brown belt in your jiu-jitsu." And I'm saying this because I've watched a lot of Aljamain's wrestling. It's weird to see other people who can wrestle be out wrestled, by this guy, and that's once again the UFC is pretty much dominated by jiu-jitsu and wrestlers, and Aljamain Sterling is proving them correct in that analysis. But Sugar Sean O'Malley is box office. He's top tier when it comes to his unorthodox style of striking. And when I say striking, I mean strike, like match strike. I mean flint and rock strike. I mean, when he strikes, it's over. You're not really going to see too many fights go very long, go the distance when it comes to Sugar Sean. But this is the one where, in my opinion, the style is going to make the fight, of course, but somehow, some way, one has to negate the other. Water can beat rock, but paper can't beat water. You know what I'm saying? Scissors can't beat paper. So what's going to happen in this one? This is a real toss-up for me because I would love to see Aljo. I would love to see Aljo win, but I would also like to see Sean O'Malley win so that we could get a second fight. You know what I mean? And because I don't think there's no way Sean O'Malley wins and they don't do it.
Well, according to Aljo, if win or lose, he's done at 135 and he's moving up to 145 because it's Marab's time now.
And I know that's what his mouth says because, of course, yeah. And for me, what I would think is the money is going to talk if Sean beats him. You know what I'm saying? If Sean beats him, the money's going to talk. But you know what I'm saying? He goes up to 145. That's another. That's probably like right around where his walking around weight. So that's a good idea for him. But
yeah, he says he walks around at 170.
Again, getting back to it, Sean O'Malley hands Aljamain. He said he wants to go out at 170.
That's what Aljo walks around at is 170.
Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah. It's less of a weight cut because, of course, if everybody knows, man, that weight cut for fighters is one of the most brutalest things in the world, and everybody knows that. So if he goes up, then that's better for him. But he's proven himself right now already with his title defenses. He's fought some of the best in the division, and now the up and coming Sean O'Malley is he's been on a tear for at least 2.5 years since he first put the paint in his hair, since he first walked out to Dana White, in the middle of the fights in Abu Dhabi. Like I see his career going nowhere but up. But this is the toughest test, one of the toughest tests for Aljamain, and for both fighters in reality. I'm going Aljamain Sterling and Steele for this one, but I would not be surprised if somehow, some way, Sean lands one in the second round. Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that's the only way Sean can win, right? You got to look at what's the path to victory for both these guys. And if Aljo takes him to the ground and can submit him, it can be over quick. But Sean's with that striking. He's been shown at 135 to put people's lights out. And I think he gave Chris Matundo CTE like in that fight. Like, I mean, it was just he wouldn't quit in that fight. Just I'm gonna be fully honest. I'm rooting for the Sugar Show Saturday night. I've been a fan of his from day one when he showed up on Dana White's Contender Series, but unfortunately, I just think the lack of activity and the lack of wrestling that Aljo can that Sean does, and the Aljo can do what he can do wrestling. I got and still your UFC champion, Aljamain, the Funk Master Sterling.
Nice.
Get funky.
Boys, you got any questions?
Well, my question is, which fight is the fight where they're going to be standing toe-to-toe and just beating the hell out of each other? Because those are the fights that I like the best.
You could see that in the Sterling
O'Malley
fight.
You're gonna get those fights in the prelims.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the Pedro Cheeto and Pedro fight is going to be.
So this is going to be a lot of standing and just going toe-to-toe?
Yeah.
All right.
And I think Whaley and Lemos, you could kind of see that a little bit.
For me, it's one of those fights where we're going to see O'Malley probably pepper Aljamain probably for the first minute and a half, 45 seconds. Is going to be a lot of feeling each other out. But I don't know if y'all ever heard it, like, even when you're angry, you revert to your native tongue. So, right. In my opinion, if he gets hit a couple times, the only way to negate Sean O'Malley's reach in that fight, because O'Malley's got that reach, that's how he catches cats, is to just get up on him, and whether it be put him onto the fence or somehow maybe go for a single leg or a double and get him on the ground, it's going to be rough on the mat for Sean O'Malley. But trust me, I know in TD Garden, the Garden's going to go crazy for Sean O'Malley. He's going to hear it from the time the music comes on till he comes out. But somehow, some way, Aljamain has to black that out, and literally and figuratively, and pretty much go ahead and take him for the win, man.
All right, so this is going to be a fun Saturday night then.
A great Saturday night.
Good, nice.
And there's football on.
And there's football.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. Chiefs playing 7 p.m. Central.
Oh, okay, watch the Chiefs game and click over the fights, Tanner.
Yeah, UFC right there, man. We're good.
Yeah.
He has one of those old TVs that puts it in the back corner,
You got that fire stick. You can just go back and forth with no problem, bro. That fire stick is the shit, bro.
Yeah, exactly. What you got going on the rest of the week with your shows?
All right, man. So you guys know what's going on with me. We're doing Hear Me Out right now. Finally come back and beat Jay. So shouts out to me for my first win in like 3 weeks. I was real hungry for that last one. But Tuesday nights, Hear Me Out. We're doing around 10-ish because we got to work with my man Tanner. Shout out to the Sportsman Foods. Those guys got some hot stuff going on there too. And what's going to happen is right there, week 1, we're going to have our first contestant, and I'm going to tell him right now because we're live. Johnny is going to be our first contestant on the show with the whole team. He doesn't know. I'm sure he didn't get a chance to talk to Tanner. But he knows now. We're going to get yourself ready, my guy. Week 1 of Hear Me Out with the homies. You are on there.
That sounds like a plan, man. I'll be there.
Hey, we appreciate it, Whit. We'll catch you on Sunday morning. Hopefully, break down these fights, and I'll be in touch, brother.
Thank you, Whit, man. I appreciate you, bro. Looking forward to it, man.
Congratulations, my guy.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hey, see you, Whit.
I'm very tired.
All right, bro.
Sam, we'll go ahead. We'll give us before we get our final goodbyes. Go ahead and get this final ad read out of here, Johnny.
Underdog. Now you can't change it. Now you can't change it. How you like that?
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you know about Underdog, the Underdog app. or you can go to underdog.com, use the promo code LTS for a matching deposit up to $100 on your first deposit. They got the best ball drafts of all sports and, of course, all of their daily fantasy drafts. Again, it's download the Underdog app, or you can go to underdog.com. Make sure you use the promo code LTS, and they will match your first deposit up to $100. Again, you can download it to any one of your mobile devices, or you can just go to underdog.com. Make sure you use the promo code LTS.
Go to underdogfantasy.com. Don't go to underdog.com. You don't take it the right. So underdogfantasy.com. I had to find that out. Underdogfantasy.com. Or
nice. So we'll have to fix this banner, but yes, underdogfantasy.com. And make sure you use
what kind of producer made that banner? Damn it.
And they will match your deposit up to $100.
Underdog.
That's what happens when you copy and paste and you don't look into it.
Underdog.com is a porn site where you don't want to know what happens on there.
Okay.
It's like X-Men without the dash in it. You know what I mean? Like,
you went to White House. You went to whitehouse.com instead of .gov.
It takes you to the cartoon version of Triple X.
Before we get out of here, Sam, we'll let you start off the show so you can get out of here and get some sleep.
That's smart. I was going to sing some Ace of Base as we get off the air, so somebody sing some Ace of Base when we go off the air today. Thank you. Football's around the corner. I've got a brand new baby boy. I have a lot to be thankful for, and I think we should all take the time to be. It's easy to get stuck in the constant day-to-day and wishing things were better and whatnot when you can really take stock about what you have. So take stock of what you have. I guarantee you'll realize that things are not as bad as you think they are. Have a good night, everybody.
Hey, good night, Sam.
Night.
Before we get off the air, shout out Scott Cobes. Tanner, he'll be hopefully back on Sunday, but give us Scott's predictions for the AFC West.
And I'm pulling it up here. No, not Belichick and Madden. We don't want that one. All right, we got Scott Cobe. His predictions here. He has the Raiders at 2-15, the Broncos at 7-10, the Chargers at 10-7, and finally the Chiefs with 13 wins, 13-4 to finish it out.
All right.
Yeah, right about there.
Johnny, go ahead and get our final goodbye here.
All right. Well, on a similar note to what Sam was talking about, enjoy your day-to-day, man. I mean, life is hard. Like I've said before, don't make it harder by being a bad person. Try to be a good person. Try to appreciate what you have. Life is really short, so enjoy your friends, enjoy your family, enjoy your boys, or for the girls, enjoy your friends, whatever. But enjoy what you're doing, and enjoy every day, because tomorrow is not given. I need to do a quick shout out to my boy Dan Harris, the super producer behind the scenes. He is fighting like a madman, and he's still super producing it and getting a lot of the stuff done. So shout out to him, and anybody else that may be dealing with stuff that not everybody knows about. But enjoy every day, man. Enjoy every moment that we have on this beautiful earth, because like I said, tomorrow's not guaranteed, so enjoy today.
Tanner?
I mean, I can't say anything better than that, but stay tuned. Shortly after the show, Fantasy Football After Dark continues. We'll do some mock drafts. I got a lot of people want to do mock drafts, so we'll do some mock drafts. Alan will be joining me, hopefully still at this point, to do that. So we'll be on Sleeper again, 12-man, full PPR. And I think I'm gonna simulate the Let's Talk Sports League tonight. So if you want to hop on, we'll be doing that tonight and tomorrow.
I'll be on there with you tomorrow night, bro. I'll jump on there with you tomorrow night.
That's good. But that's outside of these shows, guys. And I mean, I just counted my shows, the amount of shows I do. I got 12 shows a week during August.
And he produces a bunch of other shit too. This kid is a madman, bro. Props to you, Tanner, bro, for real.
I mean, all that practice in fantasy ain't gonna do you no damn good when I'm in the league, Tanner. You know what I mean? You're still gonna come at least in second. So
Lord have mercy right now.
They don't call me the
they don't
call
Nick, Khalil Harry is going in the second round, right?
You know, they don't call me the champ for no reason, baby.
Look, he updated it. Yeah, that's good. You updated it so you could give it to somebody else. That's perfect.
Shout out to Dan Harris. I mean, realize the champ needed some real metal. You know what I mean? It's time to he
wanted you to have a little bit of time with it before you had to give it up.
Hey, you know, this ain't going nowhere. Nobody wants it after the things I've done to this belt, I promise you.
Oh, God.
So, with that being said, hey, shout out to my speaking of things you don't want and things because I did some nasty things to it. Shout out to my lovely wife. Tomorrow's her birthday. So she turns
Happy birthday.
Yeah, she turns 36.
Oh my God. So hopefully you get a day without Nick.
Ah, man. You know. So we'll be celebrating her birthday this weekend. Excited for it. So do things great for your loved ones. My wife is, I tell you guys, my rock and my love of my life. So shout out to her. Do whatever she wants to do tomorrow. Tomorrow's her big day. She lets me have every day of the week, mainly with the kids and me. So we got to give one day to her.
So you give her 1 day a year.
One day a year, baby. That's all she gets. I think she gets her, but I'm not here with you guys. That's her time, right? So, shout out. So, shout out. We'll be back Sunday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
We'll talk UFC fights. We'll talk whatever news pops up in the world. Plus, don't forget, folks, 4 o'clock this Sunday, Special Fantasy Off the Rails show. We'll be doing our live drafts. Us three knuckleheads mixed with many faces of LTS are going to be on the show as well. As they all gun for me. They're all gunning to be the champ, but to beat the champ, to be the champ, you got to beat the champ. Tana, hit that outro, baby. Be a friend, tell a friend, folks. Like, subscribe, share. Let's get out of here. Hit it.
Sorry, Sam, I froze.
One life, better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they see me. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change, you can say no, free me.